Hey everyone, and welcome back to Dreamtime Marketing. Today, I'm so excited to share with you as a part of our expert series, Laura Harstad. And Laura is a virtual brand photographer who I've never met anyone like that ever. And I was so impressed when I heard about her. I met with her, and it's just been a joy getting to know her. And so I want you to know about her and how she can really help your business, the image of your business, your website, your online presence when it comes to having your own brand photography. So whether you're considering hiring a brand photographer or if you're not quite ready and you're thinking about doing it yourself, you're still going to get some tips from this video. So welcome, Laura.
Thank you so much, Hope. I'm excited to talk with you today.
Yes, me too. I've been waiting for this day. We've had it planned for a little bit. So let's first get started with telling us before being a brand photographer, what were you doing before this?
So many things. Life is an adventure, right? So
Yeah.
I've always done photography. I've just loved it. It's just been part of my life. But professionally, I didn't start until about 4 years ago. So before that, I've had a couple careers. I was a music teacher, I was recruitment director at a nonprofit, and then a little over 4 years ago, I decided to take that leap into entrepreneurship, which I'm sure many of you watching have done the same. And so it's such an exciting moment, but then you have to figure out what are you going to do? And so I realized, wait a second, I love photography. How can I make this my full-time business? And I really wanted to be able to work from home because I also homeschool our two boys. I just wanted a home-based business. And I discovered one of my friends introduced me to a virtual photographer. I hadn't heard of it either. And the moment I realized I could do photography virtually, I knew that would be my business. Like this, I was meant for this. So I that's what happened 4 years ago, and I've been doing virtual photography full time ever since.
Oh, I love that. And as a former homeschool mom, I say former because my son is now an adult. I can really appreciate being able to have the technology and resources that allow you to not only be home and educating your children, but also continuing to pursue your career, your passions, and contribute to your family and do things that you enjoy as well.
It's so nice to have that flexibility
Yeah.
to do all the things.
Yeah. Ye So tell us, what type of clients do you work with? And then what specific services do you offer with your virtual brand photography?
Yeah, so I work with a variety of professionals. They come from all different backgrounds, but the common thread is that they are the face of their business. They want people to get to know them. So I really specialize in personal brand photography, where it helps you get to know the person. And so you could really be in any type of business, and I can help you get photos that tell the story of your specific business. For example, I did a photo shoot with a woman in Greece who wanted to do health and wellness retreats. The location was already beautiful. That was easy. And then she had a lot of fruit trees and things like that. And so we got a picture of just that environment of her with the healthy foods and things like that. So just the variety of image that tell your story no matter what kind of business you are in.
Wonderful. So tell us, what is the difference between brand photography, as you're describing it, from traditional headshots, and how people use brand photography versus headshots?
Right. So a headshot photo shoot, you are basically getting like one image of yourself that you like. Maybe you're kind of turned like this, posed a little bit, a nice smile, and your goal is to really use that like on your profile image on LinkedIn or Facebook or something like that. So it's just a nice picture of you. And if done really well, it starts to share some of your personality with people who might see your headshot. So that's really basically what a headshot is. But when you get into brand photography, that's when you get to tell the story of you and your business and help people really get to know you and what you do. So much more than a headshot. And with each business, we map out what pictures would tell your story. What does this actually look like for you? A lot of people work from home. So maybe they want pictures that capture them at work, doing what they do, connecting with clients virtually or in person. And so I would say like brand photos are telling your story. That's the most basic definition.
Yes. So in my work with website clients, and I know there's lots of ways to use brand photography, but when I think of brand photography, I think of websites because when clients have photos, not only, we need some headshots for like the about section and the about page, but exactly what you're talking about. When you have photos of someone in their environment and capturing what they do, that tells the story of them as a professional, the work they do and the clients. And so having brand photography specifically for a website, which is what I work with most and encourage my clients to get done, the level of professionalism, the level of sophistication to a website when you have brand photography versus stock photos or selfie about picture, it's incomparable. I even recently had one website client who came to me and she had already had her brand photography done. I was so excited. She was the first one that came to me. Doing that, her website is gorgeous, gorgeous because we had everything we needed from the start to work with. And it allowed me to instantly get to know her through her photography because I got to see that first instead of us having to get to know each other along the way and then go get photography and fill it all out. But I believe that on a website, 75% of what's communicated, these are my statistics, not official, is communicated visually. So between the photos and the colors, and people will look 100% at what they see, but they will not read 100% of the words you wrote on that page. So having the photos that communicate truly a picture's worth 1,000 words.
It is.
It's to me, it's just critical for the best outcome for professional websites. So in
I
your
agree.
experience, how many of your clients are using their brand photography for websites versus something else? Or what other might they use it for?
Yeah, I would say that the majority of clients that I work with use some of the photos for their website. That's part of the process. And then maybe they're a speaker and they have a speaker one sheet that they need a couple of images for to show that they are a professional, they are an expert, and people should book them as a speaker. Other places people use their photos, social media. You could have your image with some content, and that is going to grab attention even better than just words. So if you put that together, that is such a magnetic draw for people to learn more. Like they might actually read the whole post then if you have a good picture drawing them in. A newsletter, blog. There are so many different uses for images. And I would say websites are one of the top uses. And I completely agree. When you have good brand photos with a beautiful website, I mean, people will just wanna stay on your website. They won't want to jump off. So, I love collaborating with people like you, website designers. It's such a great combination when you get those photos with the website and you're all working together to tell that person's story. It's truly magical when that all comes together.
It is because when this is another thing I feel is important when it comes to branding is to have the consistent look across all of your marketing. So when you have a collection of brand photos, everything should match your website. So if you had someone your business card and they visit your website, the colors, not only the colors, but the images should match. You should look like you belong. If they're on your website and they click on your Facebook or Instagram link and they hop over there, they should feel like they're in the exact same place, not like they left one business and hopped over to another. The same with your newsletters, just to have that cohesive look. When I worked in communications for a healthcare company, people kind of all had their own ideas of what they wanted to do. And I had to do a lot of education when it came to the power of consistent branding, but because when there's consistency, there's trust. And if someone sees something that's They're looking at your brand or your business in one place, and they hop over, and it looks a little different. It's a different color, or the pictures look different. Maybe maybe you're 5 years younger, and the next thing they go to anytime they pause, and when someone pauses, it opens the room for a little bit of questioning or doubt, or they're just thinking, "Wait, is this the same person or the right business?" And so the power of branding photography, it's truly magical in what it does for your business all around and how it makes clients and consumers feel more confident and at ease and connected to you.
Yes.
So knowing that not everyone starts out ready to do a brand photo session, and they're gonna do some things themselves to help those folks out a little bit. What are kinda some do's and don'ts that they want to consider? Oftentimes when people are just starting, they're like, "Oh, I have a friend with a camera," or "I have a selfie stick." What's a few little tips that you could give them just to get started
Mhm.
and recognizing that at some point in time, it really is very important to level up their business to have professional brand photography.
Right. I would say lighting matters more than you realize. And so that's something like with virtual photo shoots because I am not in the same room as my clients. So every location has different lighting that I work with, but everywhere has good lighting. And that might mean like for me, I actually do all my marketing videos in my tiny little entry at my house because I have a nice blank wall behind me and good lighting coming through the glass front door. It's diffused with the glass. And so that's where I do all of my little reels and videos. And so just find that one place in your house that you can be near a window, have nice light, uncluttered background, and just smile, let people see who you are, let people see your personality, and that is the best place to start.
That's a really important point because you could have done your hair beautifully, your makeup, have the best outfit, but if there's not good lighting and it's hard to see you, that instantly just takes away all the clarity and
Mhm.
confidence that you really would want to project, and it will not make a good presentation on your website, your business cards, or wherever you're using it. So, any other mistakes that you see that people commonly do? So, it's kinda I guess like a do and a don't. A don't is the reverse of a do. So, good lighting, good natural lighting. What about, like, the outfits or clothes that people wear?
Yeah, so I guess I see just kind of the common theme of when people haven't done brand photos. This is what I've seen kind of the before the brand photo stage. A lot of people actually use group photos. Like they're in a
Oh.
group and if people are wondering which person is you, that's making them question something too long and they're going to jump away. And so
Excellent
you like
point.
you said before, you don't want people to start questioning things. You want it to be clear. You want them to make fast decisions because social media is this very quick place that people are jumping in and out. And so you want to make it really clear who you are, how people can connect with you. So don't use a group photo. If that is like your banner or profile image, you really need people to know this is you, no questions asked. I also see people making the mistake, like especially in a profile image, they are just way too zoomed out. Maybe they're sitting at a desk, but it's so far out you can barely see their face. And if you can't see their face, you have trouble connecting with them. And so it's maybe dark, it's zoomed out, just really hard to see the person. So I've seen that quite a few times
Yeah.
used in their profile images in the DIY world. So don't be out too far. Make sure you're close enough that people can actually see who you are.
And then I think the opposite of that, sometimes I've seen people use, like, selfies, and they're really, really close.
Maybe too close.
What do you recommend? Like mid chest and up. If somebody were just gonna have to like, okay, I'm doing my own first starter website and I just need one good photo to get me going because I don't want to not get started because I'm waiting, waiting, waiting. Done is better than perfect, but how can they get as close to perfect themselves if they were gonna do that?
A safe distance is waist on up, and don't crop out shoulders and things like that. Just try to have the upper half of your body
Okay.
in the image to start. And we're mostly talking about a headshot style photo here, but that really is the place to start. That's one of the main images that you need as you get launching your business and starting your business social media pages and things like that. So start with that waist on up, get that nice clear background, not a lot of clutter there unless it's part of your brand, but that's something a brand photographer would walk you through like, okay, what do you need in the background to look to align with your brand? But a good place to start is not very much. But you can see in my background, this is branded. These are all images that I've taken and I chose that deliberately. So that would probably be the place to start.
So, when someone is looking to work with a brand photographer like yourself or someone local, if they've met someone local, what are some of the things that they should expect from the brand photographer as far as helping them to prepare for the branding session as well as during the session?
Yeah, so I assume my process is similar to other brand photographers, so I'll just share what I walk through with my clients.
Okay.
We always start with a vision call, and that is a place for us to dive into who they are, what their business is, and start brainstorming together. What are the images that will really tell your story? And those conversations are always wonderful. Something amazing happens while we talk through this whole plan, and we always end up with incredible ideas by the end of that vision call. And part of that also, I have a brand questionnaire that my clients complete. And so that's part of kind of the onboarding process where they just answer a variety of questions about their brand, like what are three words that describe you and your business? What transformation do you provide for your clients? How do you plan to use your photos? What kind of feel or style would you like your photos to have? And just getting all that information and putting it together starts to form what images would really work well with this business, with this brand. And so those are kind of the onboarding type of steps. And then I also, my clients are able to work with a virtual stylist as well. That
Oh,
helps them figure out what to wear and how to look amazing, incorporating brand colors into a few of your outfits. Cause that always, like a pop of color is always great for drawing your eye on social media. So if you're in the health and wellness world, you might want to go with a lot of neutral colors, kind of the natural look, whites and browns, and maybe a plant or something like that. But it is good to bring in some of those brighter brand colors in your outfits if you can. And so that's kind of the beginning part of it. And then during the shoot itself, the photographer guides you. You don't have to know how to pose. At least for me, I'm showing my clients what to do, talking through the whole photo shoot and just helping them every step of the way. Like if I were by myself and I wasn't a photographer, I wouldn't necessarily know how to look my best in a photo. You just kind of stand there and you smile, right?
right.
But there are ways, like, depending on your body type and things like that, to help you look just fabulous in photos. And so photographers guide you through that. You don't have to know how to pose. You don't have to know about lighting. Photographers have that covered. So you can just really relax and enjoy a photo shoot, which most people probably don't believe me that you can enjoy a photo shoot, but you really can. It doesn't have to be this stressful, awful experience that I think a lot of people don't really like. They're kind of nervous about having their photo taken. But it can be a fun experience.
Yeah, that is natural because there's so much writing on it. So, one, there is so much stress with picking out the right outfits, and some people enjoy taking photos and some don't. So, it's natural to be nervous over that. So, the way you describe it reminds me of like a brand photographer being like a personal trainer. Like when you want to go to
Yeah.
the gym and you know you need to do these exercises, and you can go in there and do them by yourself, but you can't see your formation the way a trainer can because they have a different point of view, and so they can keep direct you on your form and monitor things for you. So, yeah, I think that's brilliant when working with a brand photographer because they can see what you can't see from angles you can't see. And plus, they're professionals. They know how to remind you what things to tuck in and poke out and shift. So, and that's how you get photos that you are just in love with when it's over. It's like, "Oh my gosh, I could have never done that on my own." Because you could have never done that on your own, that's just the difference.
Right.
So, and one of the other things you were saying when you were talking about using your photos on social media, I
Mhm.
did a few brand photo shoots a few years ago. I think I did it. It was my present to myself for year 2 of my business, and I've been able to use those photos for so much. I post regularly to business page, and I've been using the same photos forever, but still, anytime I post photos, like a social media Canva graphic that has my picture in it along with the text, those get the most engagement because it's a person,
Right.
a face, and people connect with people versus just an image or a social media graphic with a little illustration or something. So I have noticed the difference that brand photography has made just even in my social media engagement because it's person. It's not just a graphic. So,
Yeah, I've actually when you have a business profile on social media, you can look and see kind of the data points
yeah,
of your posts, and consistently, the ones with a photo, reach more people
yes,
than all my other posts, and it's data proven,
yes, and
at
we
least on my social media, so yes, it works.
yes, when I look at my Facebook Insights and it'll show you the top posts with the most engagement and the most views, they are always posts that have my picture in it one way or another. And speaking of this, one thing I was gonna say about my website client who came to me with her brand photos, and we did her website, and it just turned out beautifully. She was so impressed with her website because she never thought she could have a website that looked like that she raised her prices.
Wow.
She's like, "What I'm providing the same service as before, but this represents me and my services at such a much higher level." The level of services I know I'm already providing, but my previous website did not convey that. So she had so much more confidence in raising her prices because now she had a website that truly represented the quality and the expertise that she offers. Yeah, I mean,
That makes so much sense.
photography. Yeah.
Oh, I love that story. And, that's what I see with my clients too. It gives them so much confidence to show up even more when they have photos, website, when all of that is in place
Mm,
and branded. I
mm,
mean, they're ready to be seen in a way that they weren't before.
yes. The confidence is just amazing. Amazing. Because yeah, now they're ready to promote their website and tell people about their business and hand out their business cards or their new
Yeah.
brochures because it's so beautiful and professional. They're proud of it. So, about when you do a branding photo session, about how many photos do you recommend that people have to really get the most use out of it? So, like, what's a good amount that someone should aim for, saying that they plan to use the photos on their website, social media, of course, headshots, business cards.
Yeah, I would say if it's mainly focused on the website and just a couple for social media, 20 is a good place to start. That's my mini brand shoe package,
Okay.
includes those 20 images, and it gives you a good variety to
Mhm.
get started. But you can have a few different outfits, be in a couple of different poses and settings, and so people can start to see you and get to know you. And then if you are really working on expanding your marketing and doing a lot of posting on social media, you should have like 40 to 50 images out of a shoot to really have more variety, more choices. You'll be plugging it into your social media calendar in your content creation. So I would say there's kind of that starter place just to get your business launched. And then as you expand your marketing, you do need more photos for that.
And it really is amazing. The more photos you have, the more design options you have. 'Cause I've noticed when I'm making websites, if we have only, like, 10 photos to work with, I can only use them so many ways and so many times. But when
Right.
you have a lot, not only do you have more photos to use, but I have more photos to help guide the design because certain photos just work better. It may be that it's a close up, or maybe that it's a shot in motion or at a distance, or them, sitting in a chair reading a book. Just more I really like incorporating those lifestyle photos as
Me
all the
too.
so just the more options you had, more like, "Oh, this would be a great photo for this section or this page," and to have a variety so that every photo is not like close up or far away, being able to stagger just for that visual interest. So I'm more
Yes, and then the variety of landscape images where the person might be on the left side and then you have plenty of space to add, maybe a headline or some
yeah,
content in there too.
yeah.
So using that blank space within a photo is also a creative way to use the images.
Absolutely, especially when it comes to the header images for, like, home pages and service pages, because a lot of people, if they're the one providing the personal service, if they're a personal brand, they like having a picture of themselves in the header, and you're right, they need to be off to the side to give you space to put the header information and the little button that they're gonna click to schedule an appointment. You don't want that on top of someone's face because they're just in the middle of every photo. Well, we can use those, or we have to get a graphic designer to, like, create something where now they're off to the side and things like and that just costs you more money. So, yeah, when you work with a good brand photographer, they know these
I
things.
know.
Have it just with you off to the side so you have some blank space to add some words or graphics. And so let's say someone has had photography done in the past, but it's been a while. Like, how often do you think someone should update their brand photography?
I recommend at least once a year or if you're doing a rebrand.
Okay.
You might be in the middle of changing a lot of things in your business. That's a great time for photos. Otherwise, once a year is pretty good. You want to look like your photos.
Good.
So I don't know. I change my hairstyle a lot. So I actually have trouble keeping up with my different hairstyles. But you don't want to surprise people if they see your photos and then you jump on a Zoom call and you look completely different. That that's not a good disconnect to have when you're first meeting a client. So make sure you look like your photos. So yeah, about once a year.
Yes, I agree. There is nothing more. It's like being catfished. You see someone,
And I was like, oh, those photos must be 10 years old.
wow, that's true. That's a great point. So, is there anything that you think is important for professionals to know that we haven't talked about that you would want to share before we start to wrap up?
Well, I always like to say, don't be afraid to be seen. People need what you have to offer. They need to connect with you. So people like Hope and myself, we want to help you show up and be visible and be more confident in everything that you do. And that way you can make more of an impact in the spaces that you are in. So show up, be yourself, be authentic, and do it with a little bit of joy because joy always draws people in.
Yes. And you're right. Like when you have photography, the first thing you have to do in marketing is you have to attract people to your business. You have to first show up, and then in a way that actually attracts them and compels them to engage with your business. And truly, a picture is worth a thousand words. A photo alone is the first thing they see and can draw them in and make them feel like they're in the right place and that you're a person that they would want to engage with just by reading a little bit further on your website. Or even if it's in your LinkedIn profile or your social media profile or your business card. So powerful. Let me ask you this because I know everyone is wondering, how does remote brand photography work? So if someone wanted to schedule with you, because I think it's brilliant and I'm scheduling a session with you, felt I'm going to get to experience this myself, but I haven't yet. That's coming up in a few weeks. But how do you actually do that? What do you do and what do they need to be able to do this?
Yeah, so a virtual photo shoot is pretty simple. There's a free photo shoot app that my clients download to their phone. And then when we join that photo session together, that's when I can just take pictures through their phone.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a live video like this. They can hear my voice. I'm talking during the entire photo shoot so I can guide them, make sure everything's set up. And so verbally, I'm communicating where to set up the phone, how to pose, finding good lighting in whatever space they're in. And I do ship my clients for the brand shoots. I ship them a tripod because your phone needs to be on something stable so you have the best resolution possible for your phone. And I always encourage you to have a friend who can come and move the phone around so you can just enjoy the photo shoot and you don't have to get up and keep moving. So it's kind of a two-person thing. That's the easiest way to do it. You can do it by yourself. A lot of people choose that too. But yeah, I just take pictures through your phone. And then because I'm using that special photo app, the photos download to me. They don't sit on your phone at all. And then I go through, I edit the best ones, and I send you that final gallery of beautiful images. And you just pick your favorites.
I love that, and I love the tip of having an assistant there with you,
Yeah.
and you can just focus on where you're at, where you're seated or standing, and they can shift things around or move something out of the way or
Grab your prompts for
something.
you.
Yeah, yeah. Props are something I'm glad you mentioned that. Something that I was not even familiar with until I had my own branding photo session a few years ago, and the photographer, she talked about that, props, like, bringing things that you use in your business everyday life. So, like in my case, it would be a laptop, a iPad, a iPhone, tablets, and pens. You know, for therapists, they also many of them do virtual therapy, so having their laptop or a chair, their office setting, but just little things like that. So just having just the tools that fill your environment and that you actually use. It's just amazing to me what is captured in brand photography that's you cannot capture and communicate in a selfie. I highly encourage everyone to do it. So this is the question I like to ask everyone before we wrap up. What are one or two valuable lessons you've learned as a business owner? Because all of my clients I work with are business owners. So one or two lessons you learned as a business owner, or perhaps some words of wisdom that you like sharing with fellow professionals who are just starting their journey in marketing and building a business.
I would say, just from my experience, I followed a lot of experts and took a lot of classes and courses when I first became an entrepreneur because I was learning how to run a business and I was trying to do the things that they were doing. And over the years, I realized that I needed to run my business the way that worked best for me and the way that gave me the most joy. So that is my recommendation for you. If you're a business owner, find a way to do things that bring you the most joy and delegate the rest if you can. So there are so many different ways to do marketing. There are so many different ways to set up your client journey and run your business. So be creative and experiment and try out the things and then choose the ones that you enjoy the most.
Yes, because the ones you enjoy the most are the ones you're gonna continue to do and be consistent with, and it makes sense for you. Everybody's goals are different, everybody's resources are different, and the way people work and their styles are different. It's wonderful wisdom. For sure, for sure. Okay, so if anyone wants to work with you or follow what you're doing, what's the best way for them to connect with you and to keep up with you?
Yeah, so if you want to learn more about virtual photography, my website is lauraharstead.com. And then we could connect on LinkedIn, also Laura Harstead on LinkedIn. And I love jumping on coffee chats. I love networking. So if you just want to jump on a call and get to know each other, that would be amazing.
Wonderful, and in fact, that's how I first talked to you. I met you on LinkedIn, and then we scheduled a little Zoom chat. And then if someone knows that they are ready to, like, I want to schedule with Laura, they just go to your website, and then do you have, like, a booking link, or they just email you through your website to schedule a consult? What do they do?
Yeah, so all of my packages are on the website. I make it very clear what the pricing is, how many photos are included, so there's no guesswork. And then if you still have questions before you book, I am happy to jump on a call and answer any questions that you have.
Aw. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Laura, for sharing all of your wisdom. I know other people are planning on doing a brand photo shoot or just getting started themselves. They got some wonderful tips, and then you as a wonderful resource to reach out to. So thanks for sharing your time with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Hope.